What's up guys, welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/Tales from the Customer. This story's called, "A store owner called me fat while I was shopping for my dream prom dress." I have been a long-time enjoyer of Reddit stories of all kinds, and I had no clue there was a subreddit for me to post this wild thing that happened to me a long time ago, but has stuck with me ever since. It happened to me when I was 18, and I am 21 now. Same! A few things to preface the story. 1. In Canada, where I live, there is no junior-senior prom, and there isn't even a homecoming. The only prom that a person gets would be the one during their grade 12 year when they are graduating. So a girl, like myself or anyone else who wants to dress feminine, no discriminating, only gets one chance to splash out on a really expensive, gorgeous dress and feel like a princess going to the ball for a day. So I've been waiting for my prom and imagining what my dress was going to look like for years. 2. Just in case you don't know what Spanx are or don't know anything about the connotation and stereotyping around them, which I know some people don't, at the most basic, Spanx are a type of underwear that women typically wear that cover the area from right underneath the breasts right to the knee, and they are made of a super elastic material designed to suck all of a woman's fats inward so that when she wears a tight dress or an evening gown made out of a clingy material or any kind of material that would show that she's not some kind of strange smooth robot underneath, all of her fat dimples, cellulite, small rolls, and anything that would jiggle even slightly when it's moving is completely hidden. It's almost like Photoshop in real life. Kim Kardashian revealed a few years ago that she wears them, and everyone freaking wondered why. But on top of them being a product marketed toward any woman who has the slightest bit of cellulite on her tummy or thighs, which almost every single woman does, no matter her size, it is a product that is infamous for being worn by women who are highly insecure about their bodies. Because Spanx can be hidden under clothing and nobody can see that you're wearing them, and even if not a single person could tell the difference of how your dress looks with or without Spanx, because a lot of women who wear them don't even need them, the person wearing them can feel them, so they feel more confident and secure in their clothing. Absolutely no shame to women who do wear them. I genuinely understand wearing something like that because it makes you feel good. 3. I was a size 14. I bought my prom dress in a 14. I possibly could have benefited from wearing a pair of Spanx at that size, but I felt and looked absolutely gorgeous just the way I was, with no unnecessary pair of $30 underwear. From the age of 8 up until I was 13, I struggled very difficultly with an eating disorder, and I had to build every single shred of self-confidence that I have from scratch. One of the biggest reasons I was looking forward to actually buying a prom dress is because I would actually be a gorgeous princess for a day, and not a single one thing about me would look or feel flawed. And I was absolutely determined to look like a princess at my weight, my way, on my prom day, not following other people's gross standards because I have a stomach roll. The actual story. My mom loves my sense of style and basically uses me for a life-size dress-up doll during every occasion, which I love. So she was super excited for my prom to come around and took me to look at dresses in different boutiques at every chance she could. We both had a good idea of what we wanted and were determined to get the perfect look. We were walking through the mall and came to a dress store we had never been in before, so of course, we went in for a look. All the dresses were still in garment bags, so it was a bit difficult to get a good look at them. But I browsed patiently because I noticed that the only employee, seemingly the owner, was helping another girl who had 2 women with her at the very back of the store, where the changing stall was. One thing I noticed immediately was that the owner angrily yelled at one of the women for taking taking a picture of the girl in one of the dresses and made her delete the photo off her phone rather than just letting her enjoy the moment with her daughter or niece. It put me off her disposition immediately and made me want to leave, but I found a dress I wanted to try on, so I waited until the changing stall was free and my mom asked her if I could. My mom was going into the changing room with me, as she always does, and the owner stopped her dead in her tracks and told her that she'd have to leave her purse and cell phone outside on the chair, which my mom never would. She's super paranoid about her purse getting stolen. I guess the owner was hell-bent on people not taking pictures and thought my mom would take pictures of me in the dress in the changing room. So my mom sat outside in the chair and I let the owner, this complete stranger, see me in my underwear and help me into it, which I wasn't a huge fan of. I got even less fond of her as she tugged and tugged at it because it was probably a size too small and she almost squished the life out of me trying to get me into it, rather than offering to get me a different dress in a larger size. I came out in the first dress and neither me nor my mom liked it, probably because it was too small, so the owner said she had one in mind that would be perfect for me and went to get it. This is where things get wild. She comes back with a tight mermaid fit teal dress that's absolutely full of bedazzles with long sleeves. During our small talk discussions a few minutes before, I told her that I was looking for a huge, puffy ball gown style princess dress, possibly with some embellishments, probably strapless, good listening skills, right? Anyway, I had never tried the silhouette before and wanted to see how it looked, just out of curiosity. So I let her take me back into the changing room and put me in it. All I could think as she was pulling up the dress, looking at myself in the mirror, I look so good. I look so hot. I was a tight, body-hugging silhouette, and it was probably the first time I had actually seen my body as a woman's body, and not just some fat little kid. I was incredibly excited to show my mom. I thought I may have even changed my mind about what type of dress I was gonna buy. I definitely wasn't gonna buy that particular dress because the sleeves were itchy and hideous, and all the bedazzles were so tacky and heavy that I was making the fabric hang in such awkward ways, but I looked hot. And when I stepped out to show my mom appeared just as impressed by me, probably because of how happy and glowing I looked with myself. And then the owner stepped forward, looking at me in the mirror, and put a hand on my lower back and said,
"Of course, if you get this one, you'll need Spanx. You'll need to smooth all of this."
And then she motioned vaguely to my stomach, and she smiled at me, quite proud of what she had said, as if it was common fact, when it had not been close to a minuscule tiny thought in my mind. I went absolutely pale. I thought that I misheard what she said. I couldn't even muster up anything to say in return at first. I just said no. It was all I could think of. I remember having a sickly sweet smile on my face because I wanted so badly to punch the woman, and all my rage was presenting itself as over-politeness. I looked at my mom, who had her eyebrows stuck in her hairline out of shock, and I said, "I want to go now." In a few moments, I was out of the tacky dress, back into my clothes, and sitting at the food court eating fried chicken, trying to debrief the whole thing with my still shocked mother. I still live with the regret that I didn't say more to the owner, who works with teenage girls every day and is likely instilling insecurities and paranoia about their looks where she should be giving them confidence and dreams, and absolute shock that a salesperson would say anything like that to a potential customer. I still cringe every single time I walk past that store in the mall. That was completely unnecessary and honestly probably traumatizing. Personally, I've never been in the changing room with a stranger. Happened with my dad, and he's judgy, but that was when I was a little kid, so it's fine. This story's called, "I Just Wanna Pay for My Groceries." Several months ago, I went for my weekly shopping trip at a big box store. I was very pregnant and had a 1-year-old to wrangle, so my mom and I went together. We get all of our groceries and go to the self-checkout. I'm scanning at one register and she's scanning at another one close close by. I had just finished scanning and bagging all of my groceries when my son began to fuss, and I realized that he had a poopy diaper. My mom had already paid for her groceries, so I asked her to put mine in the cart while I went and changed his diaper. One diaper change later, we're walking out of the store, and I noticed the people checking receipts for unbagged items. I tried to remember where I put my receipt, but all my stuff is bagged, so they don't bother asking me for it. That evening, I'm entering all of my receipts into the checkbook, but I can't find the receipt from that store. I look everywhere, but I can't find it. Oh well, I'll just look online. I pull up the internet and find no trace of a store name transaction on my card, which is weird. Transactions always show up within minutes. I'm racking my brain trying to figure this out when I suddenly realize that I don't remember actually paying for my groceries. But that seems impossible. There are people watching the self-checkouts. Surely they wouldn't miss someone walking out with an entire cart full of unpaid merchandise. Later that night, the transaction still isn't showing up online, so my husband advises me to go back the next day and see what's up. Fast forward to the next day. I walk into Wally World and see one of the yellow vest managers by the entrance. I tell her I think I forgot to pay for my groceries yesterday. She stares at me, wide-eyed, before directing me to the lady in charge of the self-checkouts. So I head over there. The woman is wearing a sour expression and her face is all wrinkled up like a prune. Did you have an unpaid transaction on one of the self-checkouts for about $50 yesterday?
Yep.
I think that was me. Silence. Is there a way I can pay for them?
I voided the transaction. It's not on the register anymore.
So, you're saying the only way for me to pay for my groceries is to go around the store, grab everything I bought yesterday, scan it, pay for it, and then put it all back?
I guess.
Okay. I walk away, not quite convinced. First of all, I had spent probably an hour at the store when I went shopping the previous day. There was no way I was doing all of that again. Second, some of what I bought had been produce, which meant that even if I tried this rather obtuse method, it would not result in the same exact transaction amount. Surely there must be an easier way. I decide to try customer service. The line is a bit long, so the person working the counter decides to call for backup. The backup arrives, I walk up to the counter, and I'm face to face with the prune-faced lady. Yeah, it's me again. I'm just trying to see if there's a way I can pay for my groceries. She's trapped at this point, so she calls for a manager. After a little bit of discussion, a woman comes over who's not wearing a uniform. Apparently, she's the person watching the security cameras. I repeat my story. Security lady to the prune-faced lady.
Can't you pull up the receipt off the machine? No, I voided it. But doesn't that leave some kind of record? No, voiding it removes it completely. I was working self-checkout and some guy had an issue at one of the registers. There were a whole bunch of items rung up previously, so I just voided everything so he could check out.
Apparently, had she suspended the transaction, there would have been a record of it, but she voided it instead, so it wasn't showing up anymore on the machine.
Do you remember what time you were here?
I had called my husband just before I checked out, so all I had to do was check my phone, and I had a pretty specific time. Now, I must admit, a part of me was hoping they'd be like, you know what, don't worry about it, thanks for your honesty, and I could enjoy my free groceries with a clear conscience. But I also knew that stores couldn't just give away $50 worth of merchandise. It was telling how the different people reacted. The prune-faced lady didn't really seem to care that much, but every single person in a higher management position, there were several managers and a couple of security people involved by the end, just said,
"Thank you, we'll figure this out."
I guess when you work security and you see just how many people get away with free stuff, you want to make sure you fix what you can. So anyway, the security lady goes off to check the footage and see what my total was. While she's gone, a guy I assumed to be security, he's not wearing a uniform either, comes up and asks about what happened. I tell him I accidentally walked out without paying for my groceries. He just looks at me and says, "How?" The way he asked gave me the feeling that he was wondering what security holes I had slipped through that needed to be closed. Not only had I not paid, but no one seems to have even noticed until I walked back in so I could pay for them. So I tell him the whole story and he walks off. I sit on a bench and wait for him until the security lady reappears to tell me that she found the footage of my transaction and wrote down the exact dollar amount I owe. Cool, I think. Now I can pay and be on my way. But it's not that simple. I've never worked retail, but apparently they need to know each and every item you bought. Maybe for inventory reasons, maybe for taxes, I don't know. So the security lady goes off again, leaving me with the other security guy who had reappeared by this point. He goes to ask some cashiers and managers how my total can be rung up. I sit a while longer and the security lady comes back again.
You taught me something new.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought we only had records of suspended transactions. But it turns out the machine stores the voided transactions too.
She triumphantly holds up a receipt.
The only thing is, each item on here has to be entered in manually.
She calls over a manager. Security to him, smiling hopefully.
Can you do me a favor? She needs to pay for this, but there's no barcode. Each item has to be entered in manually. Thanks, I love you.
Can so-and-so do it?
I guess so. Just show her how to do it.
So the manager walks me back over to the customer service area and calls over, wait for it, the prune-faced lady. He shows her what to do and then she keys in, by hand, each and every item on my list. I finally pay for my groceries and go on my way. First of all, we gotta appreciate the honesty here. For someone to get free groceries and then go back because they feel bad, that's good character. In fact, you should leave your husband. I'm single.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.